We're at the Mimslyn Inn, and this is considered one of the historic hotels of America. Gee, Jim, where do I start? We had a brief tour here. Give us first a little bit of history, some background on this wonderful inn.
Well, certainly. First, I'd like to welcome you to the Shenandoah Valley and to the Mimslyn Inn. The Mimslyn was built in 1931. We're 85 years old. This property is continually operated as a hotel for the past 85 years. It's recently going through a major renovation to bring it back to its former glory. We have restored the hotel. 98% of the things made that are used to make the hotel or to build the hotel are items from Virginia, so it's a true Virginian hotel. We're known for our Virginia hospitality and our Virginia foods, and we're certainly glad to have you here.
Wonderful.
Jim, talk to me about the night, the week, however that worked out, that Eleanor Roosevelt and Amelia Earhart were here together?
Yes, indeed. We researched the archives and found that Mrs. Roosevelt came when they dedicated the Shenandoah National Park, which is just 10 miles from us. We're right in the middle of the Shenandoah Valley between the Shenandoah National Park and the George Washington National Forest, with Luray Caverns as our neighbor. So the park has almost 8 million visitors per year. And it's a national park. So when they dedicated the national park, Mr. and Mrs. Roosevelt came. Mr. Roosevelt stayed up in the park in tents. Mrs. Roosevelt stayed here at the Mimslyn Inn where we had luxury. That's 1936. On other visits, Amelia Earhart and Mrs. Roosevelt traveled to Luray and stayed at the Mimslyn Inn together on several different occasions. The Secret Service used to give them a hard time about they would drive a convertible all the way from Washington, which at the time was 90 minutes away. It was funny finding an old brochure that was written in 1936. On the back of the brochure, it said just 90 minutes to Washington, D.C. We wrote our new brochure in 2016. We wrote on the back of the brochure just 90 minutes to Washington, D.C. So it's we're 90 minutes from D.C., so it makes it very interesting.
Jim, we just finished an absolutely fabulous lunch. The food is great. The decor is brilliant here. The staff is very friendly. What the heck ice cream did I have that is absolutely so finger-licking good? I shouldn't use that term, but it was great.
It's the only place I've ever seen the ice cream. Our chef, Chris Harris, made the ice cream, I think probably by accident one night in the kitchen. He put bourbon in the ice cream. Oh. And it's a Virginia bourbon, and it's a very, very tasty ice cream. It starts the evening off well.
Oh, good stuff.
It's amazing how many things with bourbon happen by accident. Okay, so... Yeah, and I mean, we're going to get different people's answers to this question as we're staying in Virginia this week. But if I was going to ask you statewide or Commonwealth-wide in Virginia, what is the shining star that if I'm coming from Toronto and I'm going to spend a week or a weekend even in Virginia, what's the thing I got to see?
Well, I think the Luray Caverns in the Shenandoah National Park is just the climate that we're in the Shenandoah Valley. We don't have all the heat and humidity that they normally get in the summertime, so it's just a huge combination of attractions and just the location and the natural beauty. We're protected by the Shenandoah National Park and the George Washington National Forest, so the views you see from the Mimslyn Inn will be there forever. They're protected, and the mountains you look at when you look out of our windows are either a national forest that are protected or the Shenandoah National Park. So it's a beauty.
Can we take some of this bourbon ice cream to go?
Yes, I'll be glad to package it up, but drink it fast.